Good morning, I'm Tips Mahoy, and this is ArthIntel Morning Edition. Coming up, July 28, 2026, 11:58 p.m. Iran launched multiple ballistic missiles at U.S. forces across the Middle East in what CENTCOM described as an attempted surprise attack, though the military said all of the missiles were intercepted. View article, Socialist Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson fires police chief Shon Barnes days after he went missing in action during deadly bite of Seattle Festival mass shooting. Florida launches an investigation into Dr. Anthony Fauci. That, plus a check of the weather across the country. U.S. Central Command says Iran's Revolutionary Guard launched an attempted surprise attack, firing multiple ballistic missiles at U.S. forces in the Middle East Tuesday evening. CENTCOM says all of the missiles were successfully intercepted, and that U.S. forces remain at a high state of readiness. In response, U.S. and Saudi fighter jets struck what CENTCOM called Iran-aligned terrorist sites in eastern Iraq, which it says came after more than 30 drone attacks in the past 72 hours directed by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. The Iran-backed Popular Mobilization Forces says at least 20 of its fighters were killed and 32 wounded in those strikes, though it cautions the toll could rise. ArthIntel Headline News is brought to you in part by Toolbox Development, AI web development and marketing. Learn more at toolboxdevelopment.net. We'll be right back. Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson has reportedly fired police chief Shon Barnes, according to 5 sources who spoke with Fox 13 Seattle. The move comes just days after a deadly mass shooting in the city and mounting criticism over the response, including a 5-hour wait for a public briefing and initially inaccurate information about suspects in custody. Barnes was out of town at a law enforcement conference in Dallas when the shooting occurred, and later clashed with a reporter who questioned his absence. KIRO News Radio reports Barnes refused to resign, while journalist Brandy Cruz says her sources describe officers calling City Hall's handling of the situation absolute, rudderless chaos. Neither Wilson nor her office has publicly confirmed an official reason for the dismissal. Florida's Attorney General is launching a state investigation into Dr. Anthony Fauci. The announcement from James Uthmeier came after Fauci repeatedly invoked the Fifth Amendment during a congressional hearing, declining to answer lawmakers' questions. Uthmeier wrote on social media that Fauci's lack of candor to Congress is unbelievable, and said his office wants the truth of what happened during COVID. Former President Biden pardoned Fauci for federal offenses tied to his government roles, but that pardon does not shield him from prosecution at the state level. Less than 100 days from the midterms, a new CNN poll conducted by SSRS shows Democrats leading Republicans by 8 points on the generic ballot among registered voters. The poll also finds Democrats hold a 20-point advantage among voters who say they're extremely motivated to vote this fall. According to the poll, 38% of Americans say the country would be better off if Democrats take control of Congress, compared to 33% who say it would be worse off. The survey also found a majority of voters want most current members of Congress unseated this fall, a sentiment CNN notes is even stronger than before the 2006 Democratic wave election. A Washington Times opinion piece is calling on the Senate to swiftly confirm Todd Blanche as the nation's 88th Attorney General. The op-ed, written by David N. Bossie, notes Blanche was previously confirmed with unanimous Republican support as Deputy Attorney General and argues he has no learning curve for the role. According to the piece, Senate Judiciary Chairman Charles Grassley told Blanche at his confirmation hearing that the Senate has already judged your fitness for high office. The author also cites a letter signed by 77 former U.S. attorneys and Justice Department officials, along with what the piece describes as support from 670,000 law enforcement officers, backing Blanche's nomination. ArthIntel Headline News is brought to you in part by Toolbox Development, AI web development and marketing. Learn more at toolboxdevelopment.net. We'll be right back. 2 years after one of sports' most stunning betrayals, Shohei Ohtani and his former interpreter Ippei Mizuhara now sit on opposite paths. Mizuhara is serving a 57-month federal sentence after admitting to stealing at least $16 million from Ohtani's bank account to fund a massive gambling habit that included placing an average of 26 sports bets a day. Federal investigators say Ohtani was solely a victim in the scheme, pointing to evidence including a review of 40,000 text messages between the two that showed no mention of gambling. Meanwhile, Ohtani continues his MVP-caliber season with the Dodgers as the scandal that once dominated headlines fades from public attention. Former San Diego Chargers linebacker and College Football Hall of Famer Billy Ray Smith, Jr., has died at the age of 64. His family says he died after battling dementia caused by CTE, a degenerative brain disease linked to repetitive head trauma that can only be diagnosed after death. The family called Smith's fight with the disease a long journey he faced with unmatched bravery, dignity, and strength. Smith spent 10 seasons with the Chargers after being drafted 5th overall in 1983 out of Arkansas, recording 15 career interceptions, and was later inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2000. The San Francisco 49ers are back in the betting spotlight after a 12-5 season last year despite losing Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall, Nick Bosa, and Fred Warner to extended injuries. According to DraftKings, oddsmakers have set San Francisco's 2026 win total at 9.5, with heavy juice on the over, signaling confidence in a double-digit win season. But the 49ers carry the third-longest odds to win the NFC West at plus 305. Reflecting a division ESPN's Tyler Fulgham calls one of the NFL's toughest, with the Rams and Seahawks in close contention. Fulgham argues that if the race is as tight as expected, San Francisco's true odds to win the division could be better than the numbers suggest, provided Purdy and the core stay healthy. Eric Lauer was nearly untouchable on the mound Wednesday night, tossing 6 scoreless innings and allowing just 1 hit as the Dodgers beat the Mariners 4-2. Andy Pages homered in the first inning off Emerson Hancock, and Shohei Ohtani added a 2-out RBI double in the 6th to help seal the win. Los Angeles remains undefeated in all 8 of Lauer's starts since he was acquired from Toronto in mid-May. Closer Edwin Diaz picked up his 5th save in his first appearance since returning from the injured list, where he'd missed 85 games following surgery on his right arm. ArthIntel Headline News is brought to you in part by Toolbox Development, AI web development and marketing. Learn more at toolboxdevelopment.net. We'll be right back. And finally, here's a look at temperatures across the country right now. It's hottest in Phoenix at 92 degrees, while Seattle is the coolest spot on the board this morning at 54. That's ArthIntel Morning Edition for now 9 stories coast to coast. I'm Tips Mahoy for ArthIntel, signal over noise. Stay plugged in, hit like and subscribe, turn on those notifications, and explore arthintel.com for the full reports.